it's clear as well that, certain things, I mean, football's got tons of variables, right? And it's clear from what he was saying last week that Skepovic was his guy, and then all of a sudden this boy Guidetti comes in as well and sets the head of the light. And that's something you can't legislate for. I think, if you go back to what he says, Craig Gordon never played a game for 2 years, now he's back to his best. Van Dijk's in the form of his career. Jason Dreyer hadn't played the first team game for anybody, now he's in the Belgium squad. Johansson's getting back to the player they had at Strong Godset. Guidetti's doing well. Stokes is carving it himself. Izzy's added 5 yards to his game. Lustig coming back will help whoever plays in front of him, whether it's McGregor, Foster, or whoever. And I think it'll be a process. I don't think necessarily it'll be a slow process, but I think it'll be a process. And I think by the start of next season, you'll probably see a Ronnie Dyer team on the park that kind of goes in with his philosophy. Because as Jason said, what he wants to do is always have 2 players on the flanks, outnumbering your full-back, and then being able to get quality crosses in for a striker to score. But I mean, in terms of the concern I had about Ronnie Dyer was that, like with any Celtic manager, is that, I always want my Celtic managers, because you take it for granted they know what they're doing, but I always want them to feel as bad as I feel when we get beat or when things aren't going well. And he convinced me that last week, without question. And I think, he actually did say in terms of the actual training that they basically had not been able to do any training because it's just been game after game after game after game.
Sure.
So you would hope, now that of course there is the option, we play St Johnstone on January the 10th, there's the option to take a winter break and postpone that game, which would give them 2 or 3 weeks. And if he takes the 2 or 3 weeks, because I mean, they got a lot of stick last year for going to Turkey, I think it was, and although there was no financial gain, they said in that, they'd never let the fans know, etc., etc., etc. This could be the time when you would start to see Ronnie Dyer implementing it. But I agree what you said also with Matthews. I think he is just, somebody said, I mentioned it on Sunday when the game was on, that, he's been a bit of liability, and 30 people said straight away he's not been the same player since Ledley left. Don't know if there's anything in that, but I agree he has been very tentative.
He doesn't seem to make a great deal of effort to cut the ball out, I mean, like, if somebody used to remind me of McNamara, in his first season, when Matthews was his first season, and it would break his balls to stop a cross coming in, but he's just kind of hanging out a leg like Andy Hinkle, and, that can result. I mean, the last 5 minutes of the Inverness game, I think he was partly responsible for Inverness, pinning us down, because one, he couldn't clear the ball properly because, his passing was too tentative, it was going to the right guy. But I don't know whether he wants away. He looks as though he's hit away anyway. But no, thanks. Paul, you and I have spoken many times via the internet. I've never actually met you. I'm Davey Lacey. I used to run the AC Celtic team.
Aye, Davey, how you doing?
Aye, so I get what you're filming and all the rest of it. And are you doing any in the south of Scotland? Shows?
In the south of Scotland?
Aye, south of Scotland.
Not really.
That kind of thing.
Oh, Dumfries? No, I didn't anything for you at all, mate.
All right, okay. All right, anyway, thanks, Paul. Thanks for the rest of the guys.
No problem, David.
Thanks all.
Bye.
Aye.
Does he want my fucking opinion? Like,
huh? He asked me the question and he didn't want mine, so.
That's pretty ignorant of David there. Hey!
I honestly.
I can't fucking back on to tell her.
I thought it was Tara calling, and that's high daft, I am. Anyway, listen.
Sounded a wee bit like it. Sounded a wee bit like it the first 10 seconds. I thought, nah, mate.
Hey, yeah, listen, whatever. What were we talking about anyway before that happened?
Nose picking.
Nose picking. Deer stalkers and nose picking.
I think we're away for that. Let's do some predictions for Let's do some predictions for Friday night.
Friday? Oh, I think 2-0 Ireland.
You serious?
Aye.
Oh man, well, I see, to be honest, right, having watched Ireland's games so far, I think the results have certainly flattered them. I don't think they're any good. I think Scotland's got a far stronger team. I take Scotland to win 2-0.
Yep, I would agree. I 2-1. I think it'll be Scotland, but I think Scotland's got a far better team. I do. I think the players are unit as well. Ireland's got a couple of quality players, like McCarthy, McGeady, Seamus Coleman. But I think Scotland is a better unit.
I tend to agree. The only thing I'd say is that Ireland are getting the results.
Yeah.
And it's not. I mean, I agree. It's not a good Ireland team by any stretch of the imagination, but they're hanging in there. You know, they've had 2 last-minute goals to get points and stuff like that. So I kind of think it'll probably be a 2 or 3-1 Scotland win, but it wouldn't surprise me if Ireland won the game 1-0.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think Ireland was surprising, you know. But again, I'm up against it. I'm talking to 3 Scotsmen, so.
I'm not saying that for any sort of partisan point of view. I just think I don't think Ireland is there's no great shakes at all, man. To be honest, like.
So what's your plans for Friday? Are you going to go?
No, man. I mean that would have been. But honestly, I've been flown with the flu since last Tuesday night, and I've probably rather than just take to my bed like I should have done, I've probably prolonged it by going, and I've tried to go back to my work twice and been sent in twice. Do you know what I mean? So no, I'm just going to. I really just need to take it easy the next 4 days, and just before I go back to work Monday again, I just watch at home. I'm disappointed because I was going to go up to the pub, Sarsfields, obviously the CFC here in Drogheda. There's a good few Scottish drinking it, so there'll be a good banter on the night, real friendly banter. Obviously the majority will be Ireland fans, like no, but there'll be good crack on the night. If anybody's in the area, look for somebody to go watch it there, because there'll be a good few Scotland fans in, and it'll be a good laugh. If anything.
Yeah. Yourselves, are you both going to it?
Paul's not going, are you?
No, I'm not going to it. No.
I am going.
Are you going your own? There's a few of you going.
Oh, there's a load of us going. Big Tommy's over from New York.
I seen that on Facebook.
I was reading at lunchtime today. So they're going. There's a load. My mate Neil from Belfast, the big Everton fan, there's 10 of them over on a stag weekend, and they're all going to the game. Oh, they're up. And I only know a few Irish that get tickets for the Irish end. I know the rest. They're all in the Scotland section. So no, I'm really looking forward to it, and it'll be a good spectacle. And I'm sure there won't be inside the stadium. I'm sure there won't be the guff that's getting reported. These gutter press that stir up a bit of trouble. Sure, both fans will be very respectful of each other, and it'll be a good atmosphere.
Do you know the biggest issue people have here in Scotland is the fact that they only got 3,000 tickets. That's created a bit of a furore here.
It seems like the FAI is partly to blame in that.
Well, the FAI is partly blaming the fact that lots of people for the travel club and stuff like that never got tickets because how they've distributed them is a complete mystery to everybody. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just the fact that the journalists like the lad to me, what the Celtic Park clock? 60,000. How do we only get 3,000 tickets? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't know press this. Who the fuck's that? Know what I mean? But that's the biggest gripe people have here with Scotland. Like.
Well, you know our feelings in the SFA and how incompetent they are.
Aye.
But you would think the two of them would have got together, because bear in mind, Scotland's still to go to the Aviva, so that holds about 50,000. So if they came to an agreement saying to Scotland, they will give you 6,000 fan, you give us 8 for Celtic Park or 7. I'm sure that would have worked, and both sets of fans would have been happy, because the amount of Irish that's going to be in the Scotland end on Friday night, there'll be the exact same amount of Scottish folk in the Ireland end when the game comes to Dublin. You know,
See, to be fair, like, I mean, the FAI makes the SFA look like the greatest run organisation in the world, honestly.
I've listened, since you put me onto that podcast, and I was always like, kind of very anti-Roy Keane, what he done with Ireland and Japan and South Korea. But after hearing loads of Irish folks' opinions in the FAI, I'm kind of sort of coming out of Roy Keane's. Although I'm still not that far, I still think he was out of order. But I get your point and half, I think that comes across.
Although Joe's met John Delaney, so he's all right. Joe had a cup of tea and biscuits.
There we go.
Joe, but I don't know, I think he's at the toilet, but I think I was to say you have, I mean, certainly, the vibe that I've been getting from people in Ireland is that on Martin O'Neill particularly has sort of reinvigorated a wee bit more interest in the national team.
Definitely, because the fact that his name's escapes. What was the Italian that was there again?
Trapattoni.
Aye, Trapattoni was universally just disliked for his style of football. It was so dour. The football was terrible. So defensive. But even his sort of interactions with the press didn't go down well. He wasn't a good guy with the media. I mean, I think he spoke any English, did he?
It was rough.
And obviously Martin O'Neill comes in, a guy who comes with a bit of pedigree for club management. Of course, right, everybody knows Martin O'Neill. He's got that sort of charisma. He knows how to work the media. He's not always the best in the media either. He can be quite snarly with him, a bit like Gordon Strachan, actually. I think the media has to dance to Martin O'Neill's tune a lot of the time, but I think there's a lot of respect for him. And I think just generally fans are probably a lot. It actually mirrors Scotland quite a lot in the fact that I think they think now they've got a manager that can take them forward, and it'll be not be for the want of trying, if you know what I mean. I just think there's an excitement about international football. I think with both companies at the minute, Gordon Strachan's definitely going to be interested in Scotland again. I think the World Cup sort of whetted my appetite for getting international football again. I don't know if I've mentioned this podcast before. I used to go to Scotland games when I was younger, and the last time I ever went was when Kanchelskis was still at Man United and at Hampden Park, and I think he'd been playing for Russia at the time, would he? Yep. And he got called all the Fenian bastards under the sun to people round about me. And actually, one of the guys whose company I was in, if you know what I mean. And I just says, I didn't come to a Scotland game to listen to this bio, like, you know. And I've never been to a Scotland game since. It's probably changed for now. I don't know what it's like.
Oh, absolutely.
It kind of sort of, it soured me to it, like, no. And obviously Scotland being so shit, piss you off as well, like, no, they're so bad to watch under Levine and Bertie Vogts, like, no. But I think Gordon Strachan has done a lot to the fact of how Gordon Strachan is such an ambassador for Celtic. Whenever you see him in the media and that, since he left the club. And I think him doing decently with Scotland has brought a lot of Celtic fans back into the picture. I also believe that. Well, certainly that's part of it for me anyway.
So I think, there was a programme on it, I don't know, he's caught it the weekend there about Scotland. I think it's called Making Scotland Believe in Strachan. And I thought he made a good point when he said that when he went to Celtic, he thought he was ready, you know. Been at Coventry, been at Southampton, no score, done my coaching, all that kind of thing. He says he wasn't even close to being ready. And so he's clearly learned as he's went on, because obviously he had a complete disaster at Middlesbrough. And I think that has rubbed off. I mean, I think Gordon Strachan is very good at his organising players. You know what I mean? If players buy into his philosophy, then they'll work for him. And they were interviewing all the players about him and saying how many things. He said it was the hardest training that they've ever experienced. You know, and for what I believe, Strachan is one of the most vehement and vitriolic coaches you can ever get gone there. But, you know, at the same time, Strachan's thing, one of the insights he gave was he said, I can't stand this nonsense with players being rested all the time. He said, I hate it. He says, we just played 65 games, rain, hail, wind, you know, whatever, that was it. He said, now, they walk through the bus to the fucking dressing room and the guys are running over to give them a glass of water. You know, it's just fucking incredible. And I think you're right, Harper. I think what it has done is it's made the Scotland fans believe again in the actual national team to a point, bearing in mind the last few managers have been utterly hopeless when you think about Levine and Craig Burley and people like that. So George Burley. And Strachan is, he's good for the media up to a point as well, but he can be really prickly, obviously, as we've experienced before. And it's unfortunate, to touch on the McGeady thing again, that this is kind of reared its ugly head again, because there's a brilliant story there, the fact that it's two ex-Celtic managers playing against each other at Celtic Park.
Aye. Yeah. Oh no, it's got the magic, because the thing is, if Craig Levine was a Scotland manager, I don't know if I'd have bothered asking tickets for it. You know what I mean? Let's be brutally honest. And I'm not a Scotland fanatic by any matter, but stretch of imagination, but I'm looking forward to going, looking forward to the occasion, and I hope Scotland win. I hope it's a good game, and so looking forward to a good night out with a good few mates. Yeah.
So, I think certainly, do you not think though, Gordon Strachan has built bridges for a lot of Celtic fans, especially like say all the stuff that's went on with the SFA in the last few years. I think Gordon Strachan built a few bridges.
I think to a certain extent I have, but I've been at a few Scotland games before Spracken took over,